Good morning, welcome back to Mandalay. I'm back at my favorite place in the whole world, either a riverside or oceanside, anywhere near water, which I've always thought was sort of an odd preference for me because I'm not interested in seafood at all, and yet I always find myself near fishing villages, whether on the ocean or rivers. There's just something about rivers and oceans in particular where things open up. You know, you can see further away and you get so much activity with all the boats loading and unloading, trucks bringing cargo here to load up onto the boats. And I don't have any particular destination in mind. I'm just going to walk along the river as far as I can and see what's going on. Pretty busy day today. It seems probably busy every day, right? Got these huge trucks loading and unloading, some smaller trucks up ahead. I don't know how far the this section of the jetty goes, you know, with all of the loading and unloading. There's a huge truckload being unloaded and brought aboard one of these boats. And just like when I got on my Mingun ferry yesterday, there's no docks or anything like that here. They have to get from the truck across these gangplanks to that boat, and then another gangplank to the next boat to the next until they get to where they're loading it up. I'm always curious about the economics of these things. You know, these guys unloading. I'm sure there's like a set rate for, you know, what they get paid for loading and unloading. Oh, got another truck backing up to unload. Looks like they're carrying a cement. Oh yeah, that truck's full of cement too. So these guys carrying 2 bags of cement at a trot. Okay, that's working hard. Everyone else has just got 1. But you've got men and women, all different ages, doing this work. I mean, that's brutally hard work. I don't know if they're getting paid by the hour, by the day, by the bag. Maybe someone's keeping track of how many bags they carry. I have all these questions. I always wish I had a translator with me and I could find these things out. And my walks in all these different countries is usually just a collection of questions. I want to know, like, who owns this boat? How much does it cost? Is it owned by a company? You know, does it ever leave the dock or does it sit here forever? You know, same question about this guy with his motorcycle rickshaw there. What is his life like? How much money does he make in a day with that kind of work? Got a couple of amazing boats here. This guy's walking across with his smartphone in his hand. He doesn't want to fall in. So what about this guy getting on the boat? You know, what's his job? Does he live on the boat? And you see all kinds of things like this little house sitting here, kind of a tent structure by the river. And I'd have a million questions about the woman inside there. I mean, does she live there permanently? Is that her home? Or is that just a little shop that she runs, serving tea, drinks, or food? She has a notebook in there, and she's keeping a ledger of some kind. So it looks like she's keeping track, perhaps, of activity along the shore with these boats. Who knows? Her dog eventually decided that I'd been standing there for too long. I'd become a suspicious character. So he barked at me to move me along. So, truckloads of cement heading out to one of these boats. Yikes. Hopefully it's a boat that can handle that kind of a heavy load. Man, it looks like cement is a big deal in this part of Mandalay. Look at this huge barge. Massive. I'm assuming those are piles of cement, but actually now I'm looking at the bags. They could be bags of some kind of grain or rice. They don't look like cement from here. But you never know. Got women here in the river washing clothes, washing babies. When I talk about having all these questions and wanting information, I mean, your instinct, of course, is to think that if only I spoke the local language, or if only I found someone who spoke English, I could have all these questions answered. And I've thought that in the past. And then I've run into someone who speaks English and I'll ask them questions and I really get no answers that ever make any sense to me. I think I've talked about this in the past. And it's just the craziest thing. If I find someone who speaks English, or like a student who speaks English quite well and will translate for me, and I think, awesome, I can get answers to all these questions, I can take advantage of that. But then in the conversation, I just can't make any sense out of what I'm being told most of the time. Or I'll get answers that contradict other answers I get, or answers that just don't make any sense at all, seem really illogical, and we just go around and around and around. So I've kind of gotten to the point where I don't worry about it that much. I'm still very curious, but I kind of look at these scenes and take it all in, and it's like, this is the scene that I'm looking at now, you know, same questions. I've got a bunch of women washing clothes down there. I wonder if they're doing it as part of a business, or they're just washing their family's clothing. I'm assuming family clothing, because if someone was paying for this, they probably wouldn't want their clothes washed in that dirty water. But you never know. And it looks like this boat is being unloaded. A huge pile of white and blue sacks coming off. I could probably find out what's in the sacks anyway, but beyond that, I don't think I could ever get any of my questions reliably answered. And this is something interesting that I've seen in lots of places in and around, or in Myanmar. Our solar panels seem to be not hugely popular, but I've seen a lot more of them than I expected. Out in the countryside, in villages, I saw quite a number of these. And maybe they were supplied by NGOs and that kind of thing to help villages get electrified at night. I don't know. But yeah, solar panels are pretty common in my trips around Myanmar. Ooh. Gotta get out of the way of this truck. See if I can see what he's hauling. Great Wall something. I have to be a little bit nervous standing beside these trucks. I'm a huge one for watching YouTube videos. You spend enough time on YouTube and you see a lot of like fail videos of these heavily overloaded trucks around the world going down a dirt road and then tipping over and dumping their whole load. So every time I get near one of these trucks, I think about those YouTube videos and keep my distance. Sugar, I think. I just saw a bag went by and I think it said sugar on it. Another fully loaded truck heading out. Hello. What is it? Taking a video. Ah, so it's sugar. Sugar. Ah, okay. All sugar? Okay. Great Wall sugar, product of Myanmar. Yeah, definitely takes some balance getting up and down these planks, carrying those heavy loads. It's interesting that they have this A-frame, metal A-frame here. I wonder if it was built specifically for this purpose, or whether it's just something else and they decided it could be useful. If it was specifically made, I'll probably see a bunch more of them along. Oh, she lost her covering. I'm guessing this young boy might be her son or something. He seemed to move a lot faster. Oh, thought he's going to come running back and get that piece of cloth. Oh, he was going to, but that guy got it for her. Yeah, equal opportunity unloading. As I said, young women doing this work. I've seen scenes like this in quite a few different countries, and there's often someone standing nearby with a clipboard keeping track of everything, but I haven't seen a clipboard person yet. And there's two more young women carrying the bags, young boy. Then we can see us. The two of us. I don't know if people are impressed with my GoPro or not. They come up to take a look at it and I show them the tiny little screen on the back and it's hard to know what to make of it, right? A tiny little screen, and with that wide angle view you can hardly see what it is taking video of. So I'm not sure if they're impressed or not with my little camera. I continue to be very impressed with it. I still have my Panasonic full-size camera with me, and I just left it in my room. I don't even take it outside these days. I imagine I'll take it out at some point, but right now I'm in love with my GoPro. Not as much activity right here, loading and unloading. Got a lot of motors running on that boat, pumping. Maybe they're pumping water from outside of the boat. I don't know. I love these Dinosaur trucks. Over the years, more and more parts get stripped away until you're left with an engine, wheels, and a cab, and that's about it. There isn't even a floor here. You just see the transmission. Not much left of the dashboard either. Seeing a lot of these rounded little structures along the river. Oh yeah, it has a bamboo frame with a platform inside. Check out this one here. Big barge, and they built their own wooden house with a galvanized tin roof on top. Looks like it could have been taken out of a village and just put right on top of the barge. A lot of river dogs here. This guy's defending his territory, chasing off an intruder. Hey there, puppy. I saw an article online similar to the articles I read about Yangon, but it was about Mandalay and the huge stray dog population here, and all the various ideas and plans to try to fix the problem. And the way things are now, of course, it's extremely difficult to fix that problem. The most straightforward approach, which was what the government usually does, is just to round up all the stray dogs, and then they have to kill them all, euthanize them all. And that's almost the only economical solution. I saw some programs to do with, you know, neutering and spaying the dogs and setting them free again so their more litters aren't produced, but that is so expensive per dog, they really can't afford to do that. So the way things are now, I really don't think there's a solution in sight. There's just a large dog population, and there will be for a lot of more years. Because every, you know, second female dog I see is like the white one up ahead here has just had a litter of puppies or is just about to have. It just goes on and on. There's a whole set of these monster trucks. I don't know why I want to call them monster trucks, almost like desert trucks. It's like they're all lined up for a race here. And I think this boat is unloading corn, I think. Yeah, I can see that some of the bags are splitting open and corn is pouring out of them. And they have to be heavy bags too. You can see in this boat, it's taking 3 young men to lift each bag and put it on the head of the carrier. There they go. 1, 2, up. So yeah, that is a heavy bag. Something else I notice most of the time is that any kind of truck or piece of equipment is pushed to its limits. This truck ahead of me, they're loading it up, and they're doing everything they can to load it with as many bags as possible. So it's going to reach its maximum capacity. a big laundry area here. A group of women washing clothes. Oddly enough, I just hand washed all my own clothes yesterday, but I got to do it in the comfort of my hotel bathroom. I travel with a little portable bucket and laundry soap, and I don't have much in the way of clothing, so I can hand wash it all pretty easily by myself. But then this morning as soon as I left my hotel here in Mandalay, I was walking down towards the river. I got to an intersection, I'm standing there waiting to cross, and a motorcycle goes by. He goes straight through a puddle right in front of me that I hadn't noticed and sprayed me with mud head to toe. So all of my brand new clean clothes got drenched in mud right away. And here's a happy fellow. Got himself a little mud hole, bit of a shade from the sun as well. How you doing, Piggy? This Piggy's so happy, he isn't even paying attention to my voice. Yeah, questions. Like all these little shelters here. I have to wonder how many of them are permanent homes, or are they just occupied when they're working at the river and they have another place to stay in the city. Okay, new part of the river. Here is all about sand. Look at that beast of a truck. This kind of brings me back to my childhood, because I grew up in a city in Canada right on the Great Lakes and the St. Clair River, and there was an area right down by the river that became our swimming hole or swimming spot. It was sort of also another area where they kept sand for construction like this, and there were a couple of old barges parked there. One of them called the Chem Barge, and we referred to the Chem Barge as our swimming spot. And we could climb around in the sand and then go diving into the river. Though I have to say, the water in the St. Clair River was clear and blue, really nice, crisp water. It was not like the muddy Irrawaddy. So that's kind of interesting. I'm wondering if that's where the sand is coming from. Is he dredging it up from the river bottom? Yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense, right? Pumping water from the river bottom, and the water drains away and then leaves the sand behind. Yeah, I guess that's where it's coming from. And that makes me wonder about the boats that I saw in the river the other day, because they had a similar like water pumps running on the boat, and I couldn't figure out what they were doing, but maybe they were dredging for sand. Yeah, that's probably what they were doing. I couldn't continue walking down by the river there, right beside the river, because of all the heavy machinery and the sand dredging going on. So I walked up to the road that follows alongside the river. This is where you see a lot of the little structures or things that people are living in. Hello. Finding I tend to be a little bit careful with the dogs. I'm not worried that I'll be, attacked and killed by a gang of dogs or a pack of dogs or anything. But it's not unreasonable to think that I accidentally get too close to one of these dogs and he bites my leg or something, and that's a hassle I don't need right now. Having to worry about rabies and shots and going to the doctor and all that kind of stuff. So if I see a big dog somewhere, I'll make sure I walk outside of its personal space. Just don't want to make it nervous. Here's an interesting little slice of river life. Got some kind of an island or a peninsula out there. A lot of houses on the land. It looks like some are actually almost floating on the water. Yeah, they're either floating or they're right on stilts or something. And these people need to get to here and back, so some boat services have popped up, little boat taxis, taking people back and forth. Has enough passengers, 1, 2, 3, 3 adults and 1 child, and off he goes. I wonder how much it costs to go across. It's one thing I always hate to see. It's like this poor dog here, you know, an injured leg. He's got some rope wrapped around, tied to his tail. Wonder how that got there. And this poor fellow has, or this poor girl, some kind of a growth on its neck. I always feel so sorry for the street dogs that get hit by a car and breaks one of their legs or something like that, and they basically have to live with that broken leg for the rest of their lives. I mean, it makes sense that there's a different attitude towards dogs, you know, me and the local people, for example. I'm thinking about this dog up ahead, the one that has the rope tied around its tail. I want to take the rope off, but I don't dare approach that dog and try because he'll probably bite me. But he's very friendly, and he went up to that group of people wagging his tail. So they know that dog, and you think they could take the rope off for him, but they never will. Here's another way to earn some money. And they're making little bamboo sections of fencing. Hello, how are you? Hey, Pooch. Oh, so this is the bamboo part of the river. I'm assuming he's delivering bamboo, and then all these people here are chopping it up. Oh, I could be wrong. This guy seems to be carrying bamboo up from the river to load onto the truck. Little short sections of it. And down there you can see a big stack of finished sections of bamboo. I suppose that could be for a rooftop, like they could lay them down like tiles, all overlapping or something like that. And I guess they also make larger ones. Yeah, I've got a big pile of larger mats being constructed down there. More laundry, of course, always laundry. Never-ending struggle to keep your clothing clean. And they can lay it out to dry on the bamboo rafts. Another slice of river life. Hello. Young boys fishing for something. Can't imagine what they're fishing for. Could be just fish, of course, but I suspect it might be something special. Comes out of this reedy area. Turtles, maybe? Who knows? I looked at this section of the Irrawaddy River from Google Maps, you know, the satellite view. And I know there's a bridge up ahead, but it might be a bit far away, I'm not sure, 2 or 3 kilometers up there, and it goes across, I think, to this peninsula. And I kind of had it in the back of my mind that that's where my walk would take me, up this river to the bridge and across and then back again. Not sure if I'll end up going that far or not. I'm taking it very slow. There's so many interesting things to see. And when I was looking at Google Maps, I noticed these apartment buildings. There's like a set of them, these yellow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-story apartment buildings. This part of the river looks like another popular spot for these river taxis going back and forth. Oh, and a laundry spot as well. Huh. I'm looking quite a ways up the river here, but I don't see a bridge anywhere. I wonder if my bridge is just a fantasy. I never saw it. And here's another bamboo yard, stockpiling bamboo. Yeah, I assume the bridge would have to go across that island out there in the middle or something, but I don't see any bridge at all. I have to do a quick map check. Yeah, this bamboo section brings up a lot of questions too. You got these 2 houses here, one over there. There's a young guy in there. Yeah, he's washing his cooking pot in the river. So it's quite likely that he lives down there in that little house. Oh, he's got the solar panels on the roof. So he probably has a light at night. So you have to wonder, you know, about that guy. I'd love to be able to, you know, just talk to him, for example, or give him a little survey about his life, what his job is, did he go to school, and how much money he makes with the bamboo, all that kind of stuff, and about his family, where his family is. And I suppose I'd have the same questions about this woman here. All these bundles, I assume, belong to her, so she might actually be living here. Ice cream for sale. I mentioned in another video a long time ago that I have this history of getting sick quite a bit overseas, and quite often the sickness gets associated with something I ate before I got sick. And I remember years and years and years ago getting an ice cream from a roving ice cream truck like that, and I got so sick, you know, shortly afterwards. And I don't know whether it was the ice cream that did it or not, but I had the sense that it was the ice cream. And I've never ever been able to get an ice cream from one of these trucks ever again. I just associate it with being so sick. And it's probably a good plan anyway, because I know that a lot of this ice cream that gets trucked around will often melt a little bit and then refreeze and melt and refreeze again. And that's bad news when it comes to dairy products. It can spoil that way. So whether that ice cream made me sick or not, I can never get an ice cream from one of those mobile carts ever again. There's more of the bamboo area. A couple more houses floating on bamboo rafts. I just checked Google Maps and the bridge does seem to exist, but I'm still far away from it. I've my whole journey from my hotel to that bridge, I'm guessing I'm about halfway there. So it's a lot further away than I thought it was. Or I'm just walking a lot more slowly than I thought I would be. I'm referring to Google Maps. I remember seeing this collection of boats when I was looking at the satellite view on Google Maps. Houseboats and fishing boats, cargo boats, I really don't know. I'm starting to think I'm not going to make it to my bridge. As I said, I still can't even see it. Looking ahead of me on the river there, I don't see any hint of a bridge at all, so it's still far away. So I might end up turning around before I get there. Well, I kept walking, and according to Google Maps and every other map I've looked at, the bridge or the road across to the center there is right here. But if there ever was a road, it's not here anymore. It's just gone. Yeah, I look at Google Maps and I'm standing right at the road. So this was my destination. But there isn't a road anymore. You can take a boat taxi across if you wanted to. These are all the houseboats and different things tied to the shore. Wow. Look. So that is it, I guess. This is as far as I'm going to walk, I think. It's been like 4 kilometers maybe up the river from where I caught the boat to Mingun. And yeah, I think I'll just turn around and make my way back down the river. My original idea was to go across the bridge and go over into that area. I suppose I could take the boat. To think about that for a minute. Okay, very pretty. I've just been waiting to see how long it would take for this public boat to fill up and how many passengers they would take across the river. And they're getting pretty full. So I think even if I wanted to go across at this point, I don't think I would get in that boat. If it was just me, it would be all right. If the boat tipped, I could swim to shore easily. But with all the valuable electronics in my bag, I do not want to go into that water unless I absolutely have to. That's a pretty full boat. It doesn't look like he's even going to use his engine. He's going to paddle across. Oh, he's starting up the motor now. And that's it for my time down at the river. I'm going to walk back towards the Mingun Jetty now. As I said, it's maybe 4 kilometers in that direction. Just going to retrace my steps. Very strange weather here we've been having. I like it because all that cloud cover keeps the sun off of me. I like that. But it's been constant cloud cover, windy and total cloud cover almost all day. And yet it almost never rains. I've had like 1 sprinkle here in Mandalay, and that's about it. You can hear one of my phones ringing in my knapsack. I keep getting these phone calls from the number 3333. And I have no idea what it is, but they keep calling again and again and again. I think it's like an automated advertisement coming from the company that supplies my SIM card. I talked about how I have so many questions about the people that I see all around me and the lives they lead and the businesses, how they operate and how people live. And I often wonder about the people who look at me. You know, as I'm walking along the river, what do they think when they see me? What are their assumptions about my life and who I am and what I'm doing? And when people have spoken with me, you know, a number of people have come up to me during my walk here and asked me questions. They seem to be even more puzzled about me than I am about them. They're generally quite confused and they're just trying to figure out what's going on. The first question, of course, is always what country I'm from. And then they want to know why I'm here alone. Like, you're here alone? You know? So basically, what are you doing here? Where are your friends? Where's your family? You know, they really don't even know how to ask the question. They're so confused. And they kind of give up on that line of questioning. I kind of tell them that I like to walk down the river and take pictures, and I show them the camera. And they're kind of satisfied with that answer. But then they generally want to get me out of this area and back to an area they consider more appropriate. You know, they start telling me about tourist attractions. You should go see this pagoda. You should go to this golden palace, this historical monument. And mainly they're very worried about the heat, that I should get out of here and get back to a hotel and get back to a comfortable hotel room. They don't want me out in the sun. And after all that, they're very confused about why I'm walking. And they're very interested in getting me on a motorcycle or in a taxi or something like that. And then they kind of shake their head in befuddlement and then they walk away, not quite sure what's going on. Well, got a little piggy friend here on the road. Come up to say hi. What's that? Oh yeah, monkey. Monkeys. Yeah, monkey. And everyone here in the bamboo area still working hard, cutting the bamboo and then making these sections of fencing. Or maybe some roofing material, I'm not sure what these small pieces are used for. And this is where I saw the dog with the rope around its tail. Oh. And as I'm backtracking along the river, I reach the sand dredging area. There's a dog pack. Doesn't like me coming into their territory. Now we're heading, oh, there's my pig in his own private mud pit. He got up to stretch his legs. Hey there, piggy. In my lifetime, I never stop hearing about how intelligent pigs are and how they're more intelligent than dogs, etc. I've heard that 1,000 times if I've heard it once, but I've never seen any behavior out of a pig to convince me that there's anything going on there. They do not strike me as intelligent animals. But hey, what are you gonna do? Maybe they've run IQ tests on them, so they have some facts to back that up. But it would take a lot to convince me that that pig back there is smarter than a dog. We're back in the really busy part of the river. There's a black dog ahead of me, seems to be really taking an interest in me. Hey, puppy. He's giving a good sniff to find out who I am. Well, what in the world is going on here? Got all these pipes running from the boats into this tanker truck. I wonder what they're pumping into the truck, or maybe what the truck is pumping into them. Another mystery. I can't even guess. Can't even hazard a guess. Same thing going on here. Got 4 or 5 pumps over there, and since the pumps are over there, I think it's pretty obvious that they're emptying the hold of this boat and pumping it into this truck. But what could it be? These guys are still unloading this huge barge. I guess they got all the, well, most of the pile from the front and the middle. Now they're working on the pile at the back. And this, I believe, was the sugar, right? Working hard. Ah, now there's an interesting load. Oil? Is that maybe tar? Oh, from the engine. I think so, the engine oil. Oh. Maybe he's recycling the used oil from the engines. So definitely tough guys, these men working down by the river. I'm going for a walk for, 3 hours or so along the river, and I can barely handle it. And the only reason I can do it is because I know I can take a nice shower at the end of it with a cold drink in my hotel room. And these guys probably don't have that to look forward to. So it's a hard working life. Hello. Oh, we're already back at the area for the Mingun ferries. We've got all these tour buses. So I think they must be private tour groups to go to Mingun. I haven't seen too much of this around. It's usually a very common sight. Bags of charcoal for cooking, open fires. Hello. How are you? I saw a number of people cooking over an open fire, but they seem to be using wood. And I think that's the public ferry from Mingun. Just got back. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, there it is there. The office where you buy your ticket for the Mingun ferry. That's where I was yesterday. So I've left the river, just walking up the main road back to the Hotel Boss. People keep asking me where I'm staying, and I tell them Hotel Boss, but no one understands that. I have to pronounce it with a local pronunciation, like Hotel Boss or Boss or something. They never quite understand boss the way I pronounce it. But that's the end of my walk down the river. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. And tomorrow I'm actually catching a flight from Mandalay to Bangkok, and then from Bangkok to Kuala Lumpur. So this will probably be my last view of some of the street life here in Myanmar. And my next video will be heading to the airport. So I will see you then. And hello. Thanks for coming with me on my walk down the Irrawaddy River.